Alright guys, we're going to do a comparison, what it's like, these standard ARs. We got a AR pistol here and a standard 16-inch length AR up there, compared to running a Bullpup. So for those who don't know, the Bullpup, it puts your chamber here and magazine, ammunition, all that behind your trigger there, whereas your standard AR, everything's in front of the trigger guard there. Same on the AR pistol. So the idea behind the Bullpups is you get a more compact package. So you still got a 16-inch barrel like the standard size AR there, but it's a much smaller, more compact package. You can see there it's about, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 inches shorter, even though you still have the rifle length or carbine length 16-inch barrel there. Okay, so that's the main advantage of the Bullpup, as you get the roughly same performance, barrel length, velocity, accuracy, all that, as you do from something that's larger. But then you also have the option of the AR pistol. Okay, if you want a more compact package, you could just get the AR pistol. Now this one is a 10 or 10.5 inch barrel, and these aren't perfectly lined up or nothing, but you see there, they're about the same length, and that AR pistol is actually about 3/4 of an inch to an inch shorter there. So roughly the same size, going with an AR pistol. And of course, Bullpups, they're always much more expensive, especially one like this. Actually, I think the Tavor might be one of the more affordable ones, but you can get into an AR pistol for like $400 or $500. You can get into a regular AR carbine for $400 or $500, whereas a Tavor is about $1,800. So we're going to shoot all three and compare the differences. We'll do like a little accuracy test. I'm going to use the same optic on all three of them. That way it's fair. For everything we do here, it'll probably be the red dot, because you can't mount a rifle scope on a pistol. So that'll also limit the distance that we're going to shoot here for accuracy, shooting our little groups and whatnot. But we'll see if there's much of an accuracy difference going to the shorter barrel of the AR pistol. That way you're in the same size package there. There is a massive difference in velocity and power you're giving up going over the pistol, so I'll throw some of that up on the screen real quick. But you are losing a ton of velocity and power stepping down to these shorter barrels in 5.56 here. So that's one automatic disadvantage to the AR pistol, is you're losing a lot of power and velocity and thus range. But I'm not sure you're really losing any accuracy. We're going to check. I think you're going to have increased recoil or muzzle flip, muzzle rise with the AR pistol. I'll document that throughout the video today. And the AR pistol is, they're pretty accurate, or not accurate, awkward I meant to say. They're pretty awkward to shoulder. Currently in, what are we, April 2024, it's legal again to have a brace on there, and it's still legal to shoulder it. So, but with it being so short and you can't extend it out or anything like that, your length of pull is very short on an AR pistol, so it's very awkward. It's almost like you're shooting like a like a little kid's BB gun, because it's like way too close up in your face and stuff like that. So it does make those more difficult to shoot. Do not have that problem with a Bullpup. So those are the obvious advantages and disadvantages to me right now, but we're going to shoot them all side by side to see if I pick up on anything else. So more awkward to shoot an AR pistol, possibly more recoil and muzzle flip, and thus slowing down your follow-up shots and accuracy with those follow-up shots, and quite a reduction in power from the shorter barrel as well. But other than that, we got to shoot them side by side to see if there's any other differences there. And like I said, we're going to check on accuracy too. I don't suspect it's going to be much difference between all three, but we'll find out. And the AR pistol here, it's a 1-in-7 twist. The Tavor is a 1-in-7 as well. And our Ruger here with the 16-inch barrel is a 1-in-8 twist. And we're going to be feeding it just these 62 grain green tips. So those twist rate on those barrels should be able to stabilize those no problem. So I don't think one has an advantage over the other as far for accuracy pertaining to the twist rates. The 1-in-7 and 1-in-8 should be able to handle the 62s no problem. 1-in-8 might favor it a little bit, but yeah. So that's just a factory stock Ruger there, 5.56, and this is a PSA lower, I believe. Yeah, palmetto lower, and then we got an Arrow 10.5 upper on it. Which, by the way, I got to thank a couple people for making this video possible. The Tavor and the pistol there is on loan from one of my buddy John's. And the other AR up here, I forgot mine. I intended to bring it and I forgot it, so he brought his out. John at Boomstick Revenge, which is also letting us shoot on the range today. So big thanks to both of them for making this video possible today. Alright, so there we are mounted up with our cheap little red dot there, and that's what I'm going to run on all three. So I think I'll spare you guys the whole sighting in and all that. It's going to vary a little bit every time I switch it from one to the next. I'm going to have to adjust it, so I'll spare you all that, but I'll just come back once I got it zeroed and go from there. Alright, I got it pretty well zeroed there, so I'm going to walk out here, and the targets I'm going to go for is half scale silhouette here. That might even be a 1/3 scale actually. 25 yards. Then I'll hit this. It's a 6 or 8 inch plate at 50 there, center of your screen. Then back here to this half scale silhouette at 75 yards. And then I'll swing out to the left there on my 16 inch gong at 100 yards. All right, I gotta tell you, not too bad. That's pretty freaking capable. I mean, 5.56 doesn't have a lot of recoil anyways, but it's shot surprisingly flat and very little muzzle flip there. So at least with this setup, this thing is running great and very capable. I'm impressed. I just came off the Tavor doing the review video, which, by the way, if you missed the review video on that, where we did a lot more shooting than what we're going to do with it today, check out the review video on that. I'll put a link in the description for that. So yeah, pretty capable little setup there with that 10.5 inch. So I'll let it cool down for a minute, and then I'm going to print some group. So since I'm not using a scope because I can't on a pistol, I could use a pistol scope, but you cannot use a rifle scope on that. I'm just going to go ahead and shoot groups here because I'm going to be aiming at these little red dots, and that becomes very difficult for me to see and line up properly at 50 yards with a red dot. So we'll just print our groups here at 25 yards. So I'm using this to get it zeroed, which I got that one zeroed pretty easy, but I'm also going to use this at 25 to shoot our groups. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of close, but you know, if all three of them print about the same, even at 25 yards, then that would mean they all shoot about the same when it comes to accuracy. All right, it's been a few minutes. The barrel's not hot anymore. It's a pretty cool day out here. Well, I think we're in the 40s right now, maybe 50, but there's no sun, as you can see. So I'm going to print the group here with the pistol on the left red dot. Whatever's next will be the top dot, and then whatever's last will be the right dot. Okay, and again, I am not the greatest without a scope, so I didn't see what you guys saw, but I believe we got 3 touch in there, so pretty good. All right, there's the Tavor with the dot on it, and I got her zeroed and ready to go. maybe a smidge quicker, but I did have one or two misses there trying to push it too quick, and that was my fault because I pulled through the trigger before I quite had the dot on the target, so that's what those misses were for. But yeah, not a whole heck of a lot better, like maybe 5%. Seemed more noticeable on that 25 yards there. Just returns the target just a hair quicker than with the pistol. All right, so it's been a few minutes. Barrel's cooled down enough. We'll go ahead and shoot our group with the Tavor here, the Bullpup, top red dot. Okay, I thought I had that last shot clear off to the right there, but it looks like two hit the same hole there, so pretty close to the same size group. But if you go check out the review of this Tavor, like I said, link in the description, the triggers on these aren't the greatest, so it's kind of hard to bench shoot these and print tight groups with them. I was getting about 2 MOA out of this, and I think that's a little bit worse there, so I know it'll do better compared to the review video, but still not terrible, and that's mostly just that trigger there. Matter of fact, that one that's slightly off to the left there was probably due to the trigger. Alright, but yeah, compared to the pistol, I didn't really run it out there any better free-handed, like maybe ever so slightly, like I said, and then we did have a miss or two because I was trying to, you know, go a little too fast, so maybe it just felt like I could be faster and I wasn't. I know regardless, it was a very minuscule difference if there was any, and, you know, the accuracy's there with the pistol too. So again, the only disadvantage I'm seeing of the pistol so far, you got the same size package, is just with that shorter barrel, you're having greatly reduced velocity and thus power, which also means your bullet's going to drop quicker, you know, the further out you go. Not that too many people are shooting AR pistols, you know, 300 and 400 yards or anything like that. They'll still shoot that far. I've done it. It's just you're going to have a lot more bullet drop at that far because you're already starting off with a much lower velocity, and again, with that lower velocity, you got a lot less power. So that's the only disadvantage I'm seeing to the pistol there. And that's with a 10.5-inch barrel like we're running. With the 7.5-inch barrels, you lose a lot of power. You might as well be shooting 22 mag at that point, because the velocities for a lot of the loads out of the 7-inch barrels, they're like 2200 feet a second, like barely quicker than a 22 mag. I mean, it's a little more powerful, but not much, only because it has a slightly heavier bullet going about the same velocity. So these 10-inch barrels is where it's at. I personally would not go less than a 10-inch on a pistol for that reason. All right, got it up on the 16-inch. Got it decently zeroed. Okay, and I don't know how or why, but that one seemed the floppiest of them all. As far as like the muzzle rise, it seemed to come up further than the others, but like I said, as soon as I shot the pistol first, I was like, wow, that doesn't really seem to have very much muzzle rise. And so yeah, it didn't have any more than the Tavor, at least not more than like maybe 5%, if any. But I am noticing a difference with the 16-inch here. It seems to have the most muzzle rise of all three. I mean, it's a very small difference, but especially when I'm out there at 100 yards, I'm noticing every shot that the red dot's coming up over the red dot out there. That was exacerbated with the finger, but I don't know, maybe a foot above the target compared to the others. Every shot it only kind of rose up to about the top of the target there. So minuscule difference, and it's only like fractions of a freaking second. But I did notice that for some reason on the full size there, although it does have a 16-inch barrel, just like the Tavor does, getting more muzzle flip with that one. And also, just right off the bat, I felt like I was running a little bit slower, and I think that's wise because it had a little bit of increased muzzle rise, so it took just a hair longer for it to settle back down so you could get back on target. So that's interesting. So I ran the course with the pistol in 19 seconds, and then with both the Tavor and the 16-inch AR, I ran the course in about 15 seconds. So those were both faster. However, I had several misses with each of the 16-inch, whereas with the pistol I think I only had one miss. So I could have been faster with the 16-inch ones just because the first time I ran through the course was with the pistol. Also, like I said on the Tavor, I believe I pushed it a little too fast, assuming that I could go faster than with the pistol, and then that caused me some of the misses. And I think it pretty much just did the same thing there with the 16-inch Ruger AR. You see some misses out there at 100 yards. I think again was trying to push a little too fast, assuming that I could do it because it was a longer barrel and presumably more steady platform, but it was causing me misses to run faster. So I ran faster times with the longer barrels, but I had reduced accuracy. So I believe if I slowed down enough to where I had the same accuracy, or if I ran the course several times with each, I think they would actually all be pretty closely timed, probably within a second or so if you averaged it out, between time and accuracy, or if I forced myself to go slow enough to where I had 0 misses. I believe that if I ran it several times, they'd probably all be within a second of one another. Well, let it cool down for a couple minutes here, and then we'll print our group with the 16-inch AR on the dot on the right there. I guess I still got to go down there and show those to you guys too, but we'll shoot this group here in a second and then we'll wrap up. All right, here we go. Dot on the right for the 16-inch AR. All right, pretty decent group down there. Let's go down and check them out. So again, that was only 25 yards, but still not bad. What's crazy, again, this is only the second time I've shot an arrow upper, and both times I've been very impressed with the accuracy. So it seems like the most accurate of the day, surprisingly, was the little 10-inch pistol with the arrow 10-inch upper on there. So yeah, I don't know, that's probably like 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch at 25 yards, which means at 50, double the distance, that would be 1 to 1.5 inches, which means out at 100 you would be like in a 2 or 3 inch group range there. So that's actually not that good for that full-size Ruger there. Again, the Tavor, we got 2 in the same hole, and I got this one over there, but like I said, I fight with the trigger on the Tavor because it's got the worst trigger of them all. And it actually shoots pretty good if you can do everything just right. It's just that trigger really gets you. Like I said, again, check out the review video linked in the description of the Tavor, but I was grouping just barely larger than that at 50 yards, so it can definitely do better at 25 here. I was dead steady with that Ruger just now, so that's just the group it's shooting with those bullets. Of course, you could try different ammo and it might tighten up some, so there is that. But crazy that the winner today for accuracy was the little pistol. That's awesome. And both ARs, for the record, using a standard mil-spec trigger. So yeah, again, if you missed the review video of that Tavor, linked in the description, check it out. But my final thoughts here after comparing all three, I am really impressed with that pistol. So like I said, I had the most muzzle flip, muzzle rise, recoil, whatever you'd want to call it, with the full-size 16-inch AR there. So with these two, and most surprisingly with the pistol, that I'm getting less muzzle flip than with the the full-size AR over there. So that's automatically a win for the pistol and the Tavor there, because they had less muzzle rise, so you can get back on target quicker. I had a hard time telling if there was any difference in muzzle rise between the pistol there and the Tavor. I thought maybe the Tavor didn't quite rise as fast and maybe came back down a little quicker, but I mean, like I said earlier in the video, what, like maybe 5%? It's a very negligible difference, if any. So there's no advantage to the Tavor there as far as I'm concerned. And there's obviously no accuracy advantage. The Tavor, you know, again, check out the review video, but I was getting about 2 MOA groups, and with the way this little pistol here is shooting today, it would do better than that. So, and that's what's crazy, is this is kind of a budget, maybe a mid build here. It's just your, you know, absolute cheapest PSA lower there. You know, those lowers are like 100, 120. You know, we just got a generic brace on here. It is a SB Tactical, but you know, it's nothing special. It's just a brace. But that arrow upper, man, is shining. And I just dropped the gun only about an inch. But yeah, that thing is just shooting phenomenally. That's crazy. So apparently you're not losing any accuracy going down to a 10-inch barrel there, so that's confirmed. So yeah, like I said in the beginning, the only disadvantage, the immediately apparent disadvantage of the pistol is the shorter barrel, so you have reduced power. So I guess if you're okay with that, pistol all day long. Like, I'm on these two automatically beat that. I mean, other than, you know, again, power difference between the barrel lengths, but these shot much better for me as far as like follow-up shots and whatnot. Again, as I stated a few minutes ago in the video, 19-second run compared to 15-second runs, with the 15-second runs had more misses. Like I said, if I ran it a few more times and or forced myself not to allow any misses, I believe they'd probably all run within a second of each other. The accuracy wasn't any worse, and a matter of fact, it was better with the pistol, but I think that has something to do with that arrow upper. That's a pretty dang good shooting upper there. I mean, overall, I'm pistol all day long, but if I wanted the extra power and I wanted to keep it in that compact of a package, then I would go with a Tavor. But I was basing this decision off of shooting at this very spot and my results of this day at this spot. I would say overall, out to 100 yards or within 100 yards, I would pick that pistol. But for shooting beyond 100 yards, I would definitely take the Tavor. And I do prefer the Tavor over that regular AR there. I know some of you are going to say, well, yeah, you're comparing a $600 Ruger to an $1,800 Tavor, but that's not what I mean. Even if you put up an $1,800 AR next to it, I would still take the Tavor over it, just because of the compact package is a little more tactical and whatnot. I'm going to want that higher velocity and power for further range shots out there. Make sure it has the bullet energy to get the job done. So inside of 100 yards, I'm taking that pistol. If I'm shooting past 100, I would take the Tavor, and personally I'd probably run an LPVO on it with a 45 degree offset red dot for close range engagements. That's the only reason I see going with a Bullpup over an AR pistol, is if you want that extra power, because you are not getting any difference in muzzle rise and follow-up shots. You are not getting any difference in accuracy. Reliability is 100% across the board, obviously, on all of these. So the regular 16-inch is coming in last place for me there. But I'm just really digging this pistol, so especially with the price difference, I would probably honestly go with this little pistol here. That's the other thing too, I don't have like a scale or anything out here, but the pistol's lighter too, so it's about the same length, but it's a little bit lighter carry weight there for you. But it kind of depends on your application as well, because legally you cannot put a rifle scope up on this, whereas on the Tavor, I really like LPVOs. And on the Tavor, you can run an LPVO. That is an option you do not have with the pistol. So really, I think it comes down to, you know, it always comes down to personal preference, but it's also going to come down to your application and what kind of optic you want to run. If you're just going to throw a red dot on them, though, yeah, you're not giving up anything with the pistol other than the velocity there and the power. That's the comparison, guys. If you want to get yourself any of the products you see me using in my videos, like my target stand out there, targets I use, steel targets, earmuffs, headphones, shooting bags, and more, links in the description for all of that. I really appreciate you stopping by and checking this one out today, and I hope to catch you on the next one.